Most people don't overspend. They slowly turn small, normal habits into something permanent. And that's where long-term financial problems quietly begin. When people hear the word overspending, they imagine reckless behavior, big splurges, bad decisions. But for most professionals, that's not what happens. The real issue isn't dramatic spending. It's normalization. Spending that feels reasonable. Spending that fits your lifestyle. Spending that slowly becomes part of your identity. Normal is shaped by your environment. What your coworkers do, what your friends expect, what your industry considers standard. Over time, your definition of reasonable quietly shifts. At first, spending feels like a decision. Later, it feels automatic. You stop asking whether something is worth it. You just accept it as part of how life works. Each individual habit feels harmless, small enough to ignore, justified by convenience, justified by time, justified by quality of life. But habits don't stay small. They turn into structure. They become part of your monthly baseline. They quietly shape what your financial life can handle. The most dangerous part is that awareness fades. You don't remember choosing these habits. You just remember living with them. Nothing breaks. There's no crisis. So your brain assumes everything is fine. But financial margin quietly gets thinner. This is how normal spending becomes a long-term problem. Not through one bad year, but through many quiet years where small habits become permanent commitments. By the time people notice the pressure, the habits already feel untouchable. And that's when changing them feels harder than building them ever did. Most people don't invent their spending habits. They absorb them from coworkers, from friends, from what feels normal in their environment. We look sideways to understand what's acceptable. If people around us live a certain way, our brain quietly labels it as safe. Comparison doesn't always feel emotional. Often it feels practical. You're not trying to compete. You're trying to belong. Every industry has a lifestyle standard. How you dress, how you work, how you spend. Over time, these standards feel less like choices and more like requirements. Fitting in has a financial cost. But because everyone around you is paying it too, it doesn't feel optional. It feels necessary. Upgrades spread socially. One person upgrades. Others follow. Soon, what was once extra becomes the new normal. People rarely talk about the cost of normal. They talk about what they bought, not what they gave up for it. There's silent pressure to keep up, not in a dramatic way, in a subtle way that makes downgrading feel uncomfortable. Over time, copied habits shape your financial future more than your income does. Not because they're large, but because they're permanent. It feels fair to live like people at your level. The problem is that fairness doesn't equal sustainability. By the time people question these habits, they no longer feel borrowed. They feel earned. And that makes them harder to let go. One-time spending rarely causes long-term damage. Recurring spending does. Because recurring becomes invisible. Monthly costs feel smaller than they are. Your brain processes the payment, not the total. Subscriptions train your brain to accept permanent spending. Once it's automated, it stops feeling like a choice. Convenience turns into default behavior. You don't decide to spend. You decide to not interrupt your routine. Small recurring costs compound emotionally and financially. Not because they're huge, but because they never stop. Most people never calculate totals. They manage feelings, not numbers. If it feels manageable, they assume it is. Your baseline quietly rises. What once felt expensive becomes normal. What once felt optional becomes expected. As your baseline rises, flexibility shrinks. But because life still works, you don't notice the trade. Nothing breaks, so your brain assumes everything is safe. But safety and strength are not the same thing. Over time, recurring habits become financial weight. Not heavy enough to stop you, but heavy enough to slow you down. By the time people feel the weight, it's no longer just spending. It's the structure of their life. At a certain point, comfort stops being something you enjoy. It becomes something you expect. And then it becomes something you protect. When habits are challenged, it doesn't feel like a financial suggestion. It feels like a personal criticism. Downgrading feels like losing ground, even if it improves your long-term position. Emotionally, it feels like going backward. We tell ourselves stories to protect comfort, that we deserve it, that we've earned it, that life is too stressful to question it. Even rational people defend patterns that quietly weaken their finances, because those patterns support how they see themselves. Comfort creates a strange effect. You never feel finished. There's always another upgrade. Another improvement. Another reason to keep spending. Changing habits feels heavier than starting them. Because now you're not changing behavior. You're changing identity. Awareness alone doesn't fix this. You can understand the math and still protect the habit. Because emotion moves faster than logic. This is how people get locked in. Not by debt alone, but by emotional attachment to a lifestyle that feels like self-respect. Over time, comfort turns into a fixed emotional cost. One that quietly trades future freedom for present ease. This is why changing normal feels harder than creating it. Because by then, it's no longer about money. It's about who you believe you are. The real change doesn't start with cutting everything. It starts with redefining what normal means to you. When you realize that normal was learned, not chosen, you give yourself permission to redesign it. The first real goal isn't perfection. It's margin. Small breathing room that makes life feel less tight. Financial strength comes from reversibility. The ability to change direction without panic. That requires space. Quiet wins don't look impressive, but they reduce pressure. They shorten recovery time. They give you more control. This approach feels slower than upgrades. It doesn't give instant emotional reward, but it compounds quietly. Progress becomes less about what you add and more about what you no longer need. Over time, life feels lighter, not because you earn more, but because fewer things depend on you staying exactly where you are. This is how normal spending stops being a problem, not through dramatic cuts, but through quiet structural changes. The real win isn't looking disciplined. It's feeling resilient. When you reset normal, money stops feeling tight. Not because life got smaller, but because your system got stronger. If this series helped you think differently about your own spending, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more calm, honest conversations about money and real life.